If you are drafting from the 109, 110, the 111, or the 112, this video is for you because we're going to go through the best strategies to use in this point in the draft. We like this place to draft. A lot of people don't like this place to draft, but we're going to do some mock drafts. We're going to do our strategy overview. We're going to go into who you should be selecting in the first and second round, and then we're going to tell you what is a winning strategy. We're going to show you how we're going to do it here as well. First, draft guide. We're giving it to you for free, okay?
Free.
Completely free.
Take it.
In the comment section, pin comment. The only thing that we ask is if you use the draft guide, which you absolutely should, is make sure you press that subscribe button. That really helps us out. But also, we are committed, and I hope you can tell by the draft guide and the quality of it, we're committed to bringing you the top fantasy football analysis on YouTube. And I'm not kidding when I say that. Are we the best channel right now? No, we're probably not. Are we going to be? That's the goal. Our goal is to absolutely be the best and to give you what you think is going to be the best. So make sure you subscribe. Really helps us out. But let's get into today's video topic. And like I said, that is winning your draft from the 109 to the 112. And again, this is a spot in the draft that a lot of people are like, I really don't like this spot. And I don't really understand why. I mean, I think when you're looking at the first round of these drafts, you're looking at guys like A.J. Brown, Puka Nacua, and Garrett Wilson. A.J. Brown in particular is maybe my favorite target in fantasy football drafts this year, because when you're looking at the combination of the Eagles offense, when you're talking about his safe floor, when you're talking about the production that he's going to bring your team on a week-to-week basis, this is a guy I'm as comfortable taking as almost anybody you're taking from the 101 to the 108. When you're talking about Puka Nacua, Puka Nacua is a guy that, it's hard to say, believe it or not.
Yeah.
He's a guy that probably would be going higher if it weren't for Cooper Kupp. And if Cooper Kupp does nothing, people will wish they had taken him higher. Garrett Wilson, a guy who had 140 plus targets last year, that's being drafted here because he's never had, a productive season because of his touchdowns, because he's never played with a quarterback, honestly. You get that second tier running backs here, Gibbs, JT, Saquon, all of those guys going in this range. And so for the first round, what do we prefer that you do with these picks? There are definitely running backs you can take here, right? You can definitely take Gibbs. You can definitely take JT. A lot of people do that. At this point in the draft, like we've said in the other two videos and the overarching strategy videos we've done, our favorite pick in the first round is always going to be wide receiver. We think wide receiver is the pick here in the first. So that means A.J. Brown, Puka Nacua, Garrett Wilson, one of those guys. If you can get them, go ahead and take them. And again, those tier 3 guys, Brown, Wilson, Puka, Marvin Harrison Jr., one of those 4 receivers, if you can get them here, they're our favorite pick. You're probably almost guaranteed to get one of those guys there. The only guys I probably wouldn't take in the first round, maybe not Marv. I think you're going to have better value than Marv here when you're still drafting in the top 12 players. But again, we do like wide receivers, so if you can get one of those guys, perfect. And we'll see how that plays out here in this strategy video when we do the mock draft. But again, second round, if you're going wide receiver, you're probably wanting to go running back in the second round. That's our favorite strategy this year.
Yeah, and if you do go running back, make sure you get one of those guys in JT, Saquon, or Jahmyr Gibbs in this range, right? If you're not getting one of those guys specifically, then just go ahead and get the best wide receiver, because there's going to be a solid wide receiver that falls as a result of those guys being drafted ahead of you. And again, if Puka Nacua or Garrett Wilson fall to you, sweet, awesome sauce, take him. Don't even bat an eyelash. Like just take him, please.
Bat an eyelash.
I got Justin Jefferson at the 110, and I got Puka Nacua at the 203 in the Flock League that we did in Austin with all of those creators, with FSC, with Land, with Mason Dodd at Flock Fantasy. I was able to land both of those wide receivers drafting at the 110 in this range. This is why I love this range so much, because you're getting really solid followers, and you're probably getting one of the better running backs. If not, you're getting 2 incredible wide receivers. Drake London at this point, I still think is a really solid option as well. We haven't mentioned him. And if Brandon Ayuk at some point gets traded to some amazing situation, then he'll be going in this range. If Debo not if Debo gets traded, Debo will also be going in this range if Ayuk is traded as well. So just keep that in mind with those 2 guys.
So the one strategy that I think you can go here at the turn that you really can't as easily go in some of the other spots in the draft and feel good about it is double running back, because you're getting a safe guy like Jahmyr Gibbs and pairing him with a high upside guy like Jonathan Taylor, like Saquon Barkley, maybe even like you going Kyron early in the second or something like that as well. And so I think there is an opportunity here to kind of mix up your draft and take advantage of a position that really has fallen over the last couple of years because of poor performance at the position. You typically wouldn't get this much safety at a double running back build, but that's another strategy that I think you could implement here at the end of these drafts. But again, those first 2 rounds are going to kind of be dictated by who falls to you and then what you want your build to be. And then as we go through this mock draft, we'll talk you through how to evaluate all the other ranges in this draft and what we're doing here when we're making these picks. So Nathan is going to be at the 111. I'll be at the 109. We'll draft from these certain positions. And here we go. So McCaffrey, Hill, Chase. So 4 wide receivers in a row. Hall, Jefferson, Gibbs. Okay. So 3 wide receivers, or I'm sorry, 3 running backs went off the board, but Bijan Robinson did not. And again, when you're looking at our tool that we gave you for your drafts, which is also linked down below, Bijan is a guy that is in tier 2. He is the only follower from tier 2. We'll take Bijan Robinson. He is the clear follower there.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and take my favorite wide receiver in this range who's consistently going at the tail end of the first round, and that is A.J. Brown. And then at the turn, I'm going to get my next favorite guy. Honestly, I'm to avoid the putting all my eggs in one basket into one team. I would like to take Saquon Barkley as a second running back or as my first running back, but Garrett Wilson at the beginning of the second is a great value. I'm just going to go with him and kind of diversify situation there.
Frick you. That sucks. I thought you'd go freaking Barkley there. Okay, so now I'm probably going to be... Okay, I could do one of 2 things here. I could take Drake London here. It's a little bit early for Drake London, a little bit. But it's also a little bit early for Kyron Williams, Travis Etienne, Derrick Henry, guys like that. I don't really like taking another running back. I'm going to take wide receiver here. I'm going to take London.
Yeah, I think London is a great pair there.
2 guys on the same offense.
Again, I know it's the same offense, but that situation, I'm a little bit more comfortable doing that because you don't have a rushing QB in Hurts when you're going with AJ Brown, Saquon, and then Hurts, it's like, that's kind of scary. But Kirk Cousins is just going to get the ball to every single guy in that offense.
I would prefer not to do that most of the time, but again, it's just going to depend on how the draft falls. And so Laporte and Kelsey are gone. I can't grab an elite tight end here. Wide receiver has the best value in my opinion. Running back, I don't like the value. So I'm going to go ahead and do what I did the exact same as the last draft, and I'm going to take Nico Collins here.
Yeah, I'm Rachaad White. I get sniped. He goes at the 310. That's going to be pretty consistent. He's going to go 3-4 turn. That takes me off because I didn't want to end up in a situation where I was going to eventually have to reach on running backs in the later rounds, but I'm just going to keep sticking with the wide receiver trend here because that's where the best value's at. I'm going to go with DJ Moore here. And then see on the turn, you've got Mahomes going and Cooper Kupp.
Nice.
I will take the other best value at wide receiver and stick with Stephon Diggs. So at this point, with 4 wide receivers up top, this is going to look like it could potentially be another 0 running back build. I'm going to shoot for running backs in rounds 5 and 6 here, see what happens from a value perspective. But at this point, I'm probably avoiding wide receiver for a couple rounds and locking down some other positions.
So my options here, I can go and lock down my elite quarterback and take Lamar Jackson, rushing upside. I can take James Cook. I think he's a fairly good value here. Malik Neighbors, Michael Pittman, and Devonta Smith are all good picks here as well. I think it's a little bit early to take one of the tight ends. So I'm probably deciding between Michael Pittman and James Cook and Lamar Jackson. I don't know which one would you go here with? I've always got a hero running back build.
Yeah, I go with James Cook here. I think he's pretty safe with his receiving upside and an offense that's going to look exactly like it did towards the end of last season, which is when he was pretty productive.
So this is a hero running back build, but again, it's going to be a modified hero running back build because I did end up grabbing another running back in the 4th round, which I think was a good value.
Yeah.
So basically, balanced start here is what we'd call this.
You've got an incredibly safe start.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what we like about that start at running back and wide receiver up top. And now that you're back up, you got another good value in like a Dalton Kincaid, for example, if you want to take an elite tight end.
Honestly, I think what I want to do here is take T. Higgins. Take my 3rd wide receiver. He's a follower here. I like him a lot more than the average wide receiver in this range, so I'll take Higgins.
Yeah, so I will happily take Dalton Kincaid here. Yeah. That makes me excited, and there's multiple running backs that are going in this range that I'm happy with taking as well, so I'm not going to be completely dead in the water. I'll go ahead and take Ramondre Stevenson, and you got to go with Rashee Rice here. That's a perfect build for you, getting really a solid running back room to start in the first 6 rounds and one of the better wide receiver rooms as well.
I'm going to go ahead and take Kyler and lock down my elite quarterback here. I probably could have went wide receiver here, but I'm pretty comfortable taking Kyler Murray here behind Joe Burrow, behind Anthony Richardson, a guy behind CJ Stroud, a guy I think could finish higher than all those guys. So it will be interesting. I think there was a lot of good wide receivers on the board. We'll see how many of them make it back. All of them go. But there is Rashee Rice went in the 6th. Frick. I probably would have taken Rice again in this. He just gets buried in this ADP.
I told you to take Rashee Rice.
I didn't.
And you turned me down. I was like, and then you're going to take Rice here.
I didn't.
You're like, I'm going to go with Kyler.
I didn't even hear you say that. I was locked in.
We got to put that Like, we got to rewind that.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
There hasn't been a tight end that's gone in a couple rounds.
Yeah.
I've got Bowers and Ingram here. Man, do I take Ingram? Or do I take...
Go with Bowers, man. It's exciting to see what he's been doing in preseason. I know it's just a preseason hype, but like I'm excited about it. And I'm also excited about getting Raheem Mostert here at the end of the 7th round. For totally fading running back in the first 5 rounds of my draft, I'm pretty comfortable with this start. I don't think I'm totally dead in the water. And then I am going to go with another running back here. One of Zach Moss or Jonathan Brooks. I think they're both good prices here. I'll go ahead and take Jonathan Brooks because I know without a shadow of a doubt to begin the season, Ramondre and Raheem Mostert are both going to look pretty good. It's just a question of can they maintain that throughout the entire season. I'll have my reinforcements in Jonathan Brooks when he comes back healthy.
I'll take JSN here. I just locked down my 4th receiver. I've got my elite quarterback and tight end, so I'm definitely not looking at that position. I'm looking at running back and wide receiver. We're still at the end of the running back dead zone here, and so I'm going to avoid that, and I'm going to go wide receiver here, and then we'll see who makes it back. Again, 4 running backs, 5 running backs, all guys I don't want. Keon Coleman's a disgusting value there because I almost took him. And then now I'm probably going to look and see what running backs are available, if any of them are. Trey Benson's not a bad value here. I don't have any, I guess I have Bowers as a rookie on my team, but I don't really count him.
You got to go BTJ. He's a smash here at this price.
I haven't even looked over
going at the tail end of the 9th round, if you're able to get him there, I think it's awesome. You have a lot of home leagues where you've got people that just have zero interest in taking rookies because rookies don't do anything. Yeah, they do now. So with Brian Thomas, I think he's in a pretty good situation with Trevor Lawrence throwing him the ball. I am going to go ahead here and just take another running back. I'll go ahead and go with Trey Benson. I don't think he's awful here since you're already considering him. He's not a bad pick. Gus Edwards was another guy that I was looking at as well. And then I'll take one of the final remaining rushing quarterbacks in Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, good pick with Daniels there. And then Goddard. Which again, I didn't need either of those positions, so that's going to leave me somebody pretty good here. Let's see. Khalil Shakir, I've got Adonai Mitchell, Curtis Samuel, Romeo Doubs is also a solid pick here at wide receiver. Looking at running back here, Ezekiel Elliott, Blake Corum, Jerome Ford, Chase Brown. I'm probably just in the 10th round. I'm probably going to just take Chase Brown here.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. Hawkinson again going in the 10th. You're seeing Hawkinson go as early as like the late 9th round and as late as the late 12th. Right, he can go anywhere. It just depends on how your league feels about him. I think he's a pretty decent shot regardless because really at the end of the day, look at the other guys going around him. You're taking backups and handcuffs anyways. You're taking Trey Benson. You're taking Blake Corum. They're probably not going to get any opportunities until halfway through the season, but they're valuable enough where you're probably going to keep them on your roster and you're not going to drop them, at least for the first couple months of the year. And I think Hawkinson is fine, especially when he's a guy on IR. He's basically a free pick, right, where you're just throwing him on IR. You can go and you can get a waiver pick right after the draft, and it's just an extra player. So nice.
I'm definitely going wide receiver running back here.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm leaning towards Zontavion Wicks, Jalen Polk. Honestly, if Polk's falling here, I don't care that I've got 2 rookies. He's in the 11th round. But when you get past the 10th round you can take shots on rookies. I'm going to take Polk.
Yeah, and I will go ahead and go with Ty Chandler. He definitely appears to be the guy and the only guy in Minnesota. I'm just going to go with the vacated volume available in Minnesota where, he's not being priced like Madison was last year. It's not abysmal. So just see what he can do, see if he can, be a spark for that offense. And then I'll go ahead and pivot over to wide receiver. I haven't taken a receiver since I went Diggs in the 4th round because I haven't needed to, but there's a really great guy here that I'm comfortable putting in flex at any point in time, and that's Jacoby Myers.
I'll take the last potentially starting running back in this draft, Enrico Dowdle, to finish it out. Yeah. So you're looking at my ratios here. I got 4 running backs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide receivers, and then I got a quarterback and a tight end. And so when you're looking at my build, this is technically a hero running back build, but I did take a running back in the 4th, so I didn't completely punt my running back 2. I did end up with a fairly solid wide receiver room, in my own opinion. Drake London and Nico Collins, both guys that are 1s on their team. T. Higgins is obviously a 2, but then you've got JSN. Brian Thomas is probably a 1. Jalen Polk's probably a 1. I'm pretty comfortable with that. I did draft 2 rookies here, but again, one of the rookies came after the 10th round, so I'm comfortable with that as well. I technically Bowers as well. And then I've got Kyler, elite quarterback. Brock Bowers, again, probably an elite tight end. You're betting again. It's a little bit more risky as a rookie, but and then you went classic no running back here.
Yeah, and I think this is a situation where, one, this is one of the reasons that I love the 109 to the 112 range, because you really have a lot of ability to make up for going heavy wide receiver or even heavy running back to start the draft, because you are starting a lot of those next tiers where a lot of people in front of you are forced to take the players that they have to take because, they're falling a little bit and they're the end of that remaining tier. And then you're getting the start of the next tier, like Rachaad White going at the tail end of the third round, like the Ramondre Swift and Mostert tier going at the 6-7 turn. If you are fading wide receiver or going a little lighter on wide receiver, like Team 10 did, for example, you can go and you can get some receivers in the 4th and 5th round like T. Higgins and Diggs and Tank Dell in that range as well. So I think it's a pretty good situation to be in. And I think you're getting a ton of value, especially at the 1-2 turn. I mean, just the talent overall that you're getting for guys that legitimately have top 3 upside at their respective positions going at the 1-2 turn, just like the guys going at the top from the 101 to the 106. Like, I just think it's the ideal position to pick.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so there's 2 mock drafts from the 109 to the 112. Again, this 109, 111. Both of the guys, obviously, at Team 10 and Team 10 and Team 12 are CPUs, so they're definitely not going to be drafting very well, and they didn't in this draft. However, there are multiple strategies you can employ here, and these were the ones we picked. Again, the hero running back with a modified, running back in the 4th round, and then a 0 running back. And again, I think had Saquon fallen back to me, I would have taken Bijan and then Saquon, right? I would have gone double running back. It just so happened that Drake London fell to me. I thought Drake London was the best value there, and I went Drake London. But you can use a lot of different strategies. You have a lot of flexibility here. And then in the later rounds, I feel like in rounds 3 to 4, 3, 4, and 5 really. The 4-5 turn is a little bit better than the 3-4 turn for sure, but there are some solid guys that can fall to you in like the 5th round. Like I like getting T. Higgins at the end of the 5th.
I just like all the guys that are at those turns pretty much every single round, going all the way down to 8, 9.
I know. I feel like the turns here are a little bit better than the turns on the other side. So. Yeah. Do us a huge favor. Make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed this video and if you will use it for your draft. Also, check out the draft guide. And again, we ask if you use that, make sure you subscribe as well to the channel. We'll try to give you the best, highest quality analysis that we possibly can. But we appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you later.